Another shake of the head, then another. This old warthog can barely remain still. Hundreds of swollen ticks cling to its skin. The worst clusters are packed around the rims of both ears, deep inside the ear folds, beneath the eyes, along the cheeks, under the jaw, and across the thick wrinkles of the neck. More parasites hide between the stiff bristles covering its shoulders and upper back. Flies circle constantly, landing around the eyes and muzzle. The warthog raises a hind leg and scratches hard behind one ear. For a moment, the dust flies and the skin trembles, but the ticks remain firmly attached. It presses the side of its face against the rough bark of an acacia tree and rubs again and again. Still, the parasites hold on. Finally, the warthog drops into the dust and rolls its neck and shoulders across the ground. Nothing works. The itching continues, and every movement reveals another cluster of ticks buried in places the warthog cannot reach. For animals living on the African savanna, parasites are a constant burden, but help is already watching from the branches above. A red-billed oxpecker leaves the tree and lands on the warthog's back. The bird studies the rough skin, moving carefully between the stiff bristles. Then it finds what it is looking for, a swollen tick. With one precise pull, the parasite is removed. The warthog flinches, but it does not run. Within moments, more oxpeckers arrive. Soon, 6 birds are at work. 2 move toward the heavily infested ears. Another searches beneath the eyes and along the cheeks. The remaining birds inspect the neck folds, shoulders, upper back, and the thin skin behind the front legs. The birds are not interested in the warthog as prey. They are here for the ticks. For the oxpeckers, every parasite is a dependable meal. For the warthog, each removal brings relief from an irritation it cannot solve alone. The cleaning begins in earnest. At the base of the left ear, one oxpecker pushes its bill between thick folds of skin and selects a single swollen tick. It grips the parasite close to the head and pulls. The tick comes free. Another bird works along the opposite ear, where dozens more remain attached in tight clusters. The ears are among the most difficult places for the warthog to reach. They are also among the most heavily infested. Around the eyes, the birds move more carefully. One oxpecker steps along the cheek, avoiding the sensitive eye while removing ticks hidden inside the facial creases. Another searches beneath the jaw. Across the neck and shoulders, the birds part the coarse bristles and inspect the exposed skin beneath. One tick at a time, the infestation begins to thin. The warthog still shakes its ears, but less often now. Its breathing slows. The constant skin twitching begins to ease. As the birds continue, the warthog lowers its head and finally stands still. This partnership has been shaped over generations. The oxpeckers gain food from the parasites they remove. The warthog gains access to places it could never clean on its own. But even 6 hungry birds cannot remove hundreds of ticks in a few minutes. Many remain attached. The work continues across the ears, face, neck, shoulders, and back. By midday, the African sun becomes relentless. The ground radiates heat, and the warthog begins breathing faster. It leaves the shade and walks toward a muddy wallow nearby. The oxpeckers lift from its back and wait on the surrounding branches. Ticks are still clearly visible along the ears, face, neck, and shoulders as the warthog steps into the shallow mud. It lowers its chest, then rolls
Close comparison of the warthog's 2 ears. Both still carry scattered uniform grey-brown ticks, but the dense clusters from earlier are now broken into smaller
the wallow
groups.
offers immediate relief.
The red-billed Oxpecker performs a vital
forms
service,
a temporary
meticulously
barrier
chipping
against
away
biting
the dried
flies
mud.
and other
With-
insects. But the ticks already anchored deep in the skin do not disappear. Many remain attached around the ears and upper neck above the muddy water. After several minutes, the warthog pushes itself upright. Mud runs from its shoulders and face. It shakes its entire body, scattering droplets into the hot air. The flies retreat briefly. The ticks remain, and the waiting oxpeckers are ready to return. Before the mud has dried, the first oxpecker lands again. The others follow quickly. The wet bristles make the search more difficult, but the birds continue with remarkable precision. One works inside the left ear, removing ticks hidden beneath a thin layer of mud. Another searches along the right ear rim. Two birds
The red-billed Oxpecker
neck
demonstrates a
and
crucial
shoulders, probing
symbiotic
into
relationship,
deep folds
carefully
where
extracting
swollen
the
parasites
engorged
remain
tick from the
protected
warthog's
warthog
hide.
scratching. Along the upper back, the final pair follows the line of stiff bristles and removes ticks one by one. The warthog now begins to graze while the birds work. Earlier, it could barely stand still. Now, it lowers its head to feed. The thickest clusters around the ears are
The
beginning to
Oxpecker
break
turns
apart.
its attention to the
Fewer ticks
grey-brown
remain
tick,
beneath
testing
the
the
eyes
skin
and
before a
along the
swift
cheeks.
extraction.
The neck is still heavily infested, but even there, small cleared patches are beginning to appear. The birds continue moving from one infected area to another. For them, this is not an act of kindness. It is feeding, but the result is the same. The warthog becomes calmer with every parasite removed. Suddenly, one oxpecker stops feeding. Its body stiffens, and its head turns toward the open grassland. A sharp alarm call breaks the quiet. The other birds immediately raise their heads. The warthog stops grazing and lifts its face. In the distance, a spotted hyena moves slowly through the dry
The
grass.
Oxpecker leans in,
It is not
its
close
red
enough
bill
to attack.
precisely grasping
But on
the
the
swollen
Savanna,
tick,
even
pulling
a
it
distant
free in
predator
one
cannot
controlled,
be ignored.
bloodless motion.
The warthog turns its body toward the threat and watches. The oxpeckers pause on its back, still surrounded by visible ticks. For several moments, nothing moves except the hyena. Then the predator continues past and gradually disappears behind the thorn scrub. The danger has passed. The warthog lowers its head. One by one, the birds return to work. Late in the afternoon, the light begins to soften. The oxpeckers make their final pass across the warthog's body. They return to the ears, where scattered ticks still cling to the upper rims and inner folds. They search beneath the eyes, along the jaw, and inside the deep wrinkles of the neck. Others inspect the shoulders and upper back for
A close look at the
parasites
symbiotic
missed earlier.
relationship.
The
The red-billed
warthog no
Oxpecker
longer
meticulously
shakes its
removes.
head constantly. It no longer scratches every few moments. The infestation has not disappeared, but the number of ticks is far lower than it was that morning. As the sun drops toward the horizon, the oxpeckers begin to leave. One bird lifts from the shoulder. Another leaves the ear. Soon, all six are flying toward their night roost. The warthog stands alone once again. A few ticks remain attached around its ears, neck, and back. Tomorrow, new parasites may find their way onto its skin, and when they do, the oxpeckers will return. Another day, another meal, another small partnership.
Despite the thick coating, the persistent ticks remain visible.